Have you ever heard an owl's hoot in the dead of the night and then turned to your partner, sleepily asking, "Did you know that owls don't have eyelids?" When your partner responds with a groggy, "What are you talking about? Of course they do," you reply with a smug smile, knowing that you've just successfully invoked the ancient Greek myth about Athena turning King Midas's ears into those of a donkey after he insulted her, and your partner replies, "Huh?" and rolls over to go back to sleep. But you can't because you're lying there wide awake thinking about how wrong they are. Because while it is true that owls don't have eyelids, what if we told you that they also don't move their eyes? Don't believe us? Well, let us prove it to you. In order to figure out whether or not this was true, we went straight to the experts, namely, two of our writers who happen to be very knowledgeable about birds. And one of them even has an animal named Hootie. This writer wrote a book about a barn owl named Hootie, who lives at a zoo in Australia. So yes, they are quite qualified to speak on the matter. So here's what they had to say when asked about owls' eye movement. Owls cannot move their eyes independently from side to side like we do. Instead, they turn their heads almost 360 degrees to face directly the prey they're hunting, or the person they're looking at. This means that their eyes are always facing forward and never off to the side, like ours are when we look left or right. The only time their eyes aren't facing forward is when they're looking straight up or down. But most of the time, they're facing straight ahead. Now, before you go around telling everyone you meet that you once saw a video wherein a bunch of random people discussed whether or not owls can move their eyes, and you learned that they can't, you should probably hear the rest of what they had to say. After all, there are lots of exceptions to rules, and we'd hate for you to get fact-checked by some wise guy who knows more about owls than you. For example, did you know that there are over 200 species of owls? And some of them, such as the northern hawk owl, are capable of moving their eyes independently from side to side, but only while they're looking down. This is useful for spotting prey, such as lemmings scurrying around below them in the snow. Other owls, such as the great grey owl, can move their eyes independently from side to side and up and down. However, this ability does not come in handy very often, because they usually hunt in areas where they can swoop down and grab their unsuspecting prey, meaning that they don't need to look up much. But wait, you might be thinking now, surely all the other nocturnal predatory birds can move their eyes independently from side to side and up and down. So why can't you just say that the only reason owls can't move their eyes from side to side is because they don't need to, because they turn their heads nearly 360 degrees to face their prey? Well, to answer that question, we went straight to another expert, namely the creator of a YouTube channel where they discuss birds. They had this to say about the matter. It is indeed correct that owls cannot move their eyes independently of each other from side to side. However, the reason for this is not what you think. Owls belong to a group of birds called the Spheniciformes, which also includes diurnal birds of prey, such as hawks, falcons, and vultures. With the exception of the ostrich and the kiwi, all birds in this group have independent eye movements. So why can't owls move their eyes independently of each other? Well, the explanation lies in their binocular vision, which is an adaptation that allows them to judge distances more accurately when they're hunting. Binocular vision is achieved when the eyes are set close together on the front of the head, like you see in mammals. It enables animals to see the world in 3 dimensions and provides a better sense of depth perception than monocular vision, which is seen in most reptiles and fish. In order to achieve binocular vision, the optic tectum, which is the part of the brain that controls eye movement, must send signals to both eyes simultaneously. This results in the evolution of a bony socket for the eyes to sit in, which is what we see in modern owls. This is different from the more flexible, movable eye sockets found in other birds of prey, which allow for greater mobility of the eyes, but reduce the extent of binocular vision. It is thought that this trade-off between eye mobility and binocular vision is related to the ecology of the birds. For example, diurnal birds of prey, such as hawks and falcons, typically hunt by pursuing their prey through the air, whereas nocturnal predators, such as owls, typically hunt by perching and then pouncing on their prey. In order to perch without being seen, owls need to be able to turn their heads nearly 360 degrees. This would not be possible if they had more mobile eyes that stuck out from their heads. By reducing their eye mobility, owls have been able to evolve larger, more sensitive eyes that allow them to see well in low light conditions. Therefore, the inability of owls to move their eyes independently of each other is an adaptation that allows them to be successful nocturnal predators. So there you have it. Now you can impress your friends with your newfound knowledge of owl biology. Just be careful not to get too smug about it. You wouldn't want to invoke the wrath of Athena. And remember, even though they can't move their eyes from side to side, owls can still surprise you by looking up and down. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our future content. Until next time.